What is up, Sista Friend? So I am super excited to announce my new podcast, Heart to Heart with Coach Emilee. Every single week on Wednesdays, you will be receiving a beautiful heart to heart from me here on this podcast. So what we're going to be doing, if you don't know, I've been doing a heart to heart email for a while now, and I wanted to extend that heart energy out into the world more and more and more. So what better way than a podcast? And on this podcast, we're going to be doing a number of things, having heart to hearts, working on personal development, talking about what it means to be a female fitness entrepreneur, and really developing the skills, the tools, the routines, the self-worth, the self-love, and the confidence to really own that role, right? And really become that woman, right? We all became a fitness coach for a reason. We all started our business for a reason. And along the way, I feel like we all got a little lost in the sauce. I know that I did. And so through storytelling and my own personal experience, I really want to help guide you, support you, and just be vulnerable and authentic with you. Transparency is everything to me. And being just exactly who you are, weirdness and all, allows for us to connect deeper and for us to not feel so alone. I want us to be able to use this every single week as a chance to really be there for each other, to connect, to feel like Sista Friends, to know that we're all going through similar obstacles, how we're overcoming them, and really give you the tools to continue to step into the person that you want to be, that woman that you know you are destined to be. If you followed me on social media at all, Full Circle Coaching is based off the belief that you are destined for more, that there is more to your life than you're allowing yourself to open up to. And so heart to heart is the connection piece to all of that. I want you to feel like we're making huge strides here. So I am super excited to have this journey with you guys and start this podcast. I've been wanting to start one for a while. And in true Emilee fashion, I feel like we all feel this way sometimes. I bought a microphone, okay, for this. Bought a microphone. I'm so excited. It's going to be so official, big old microphone. And I can't put it together to save my life. So we are roughing it just straight into the computer today. First episode, because why the hell not, right? A lot of times we get focused on being perfect. And for a second, I was like, oh, maybe I should wait until I get a new microphone. But I was just like, you know what? Heart to heart is about being exposed. It's about being who you are. And that includes messes. So what perfect day to set up my podcast than the day that I don't have a microphone that works. So it is what it is. So I wanted to start off with this first episode telling you a little bit about my story. So in case you don't know who I am, why this podcast matters, why you should even listen to this podcast, I think learning a little bit about who I am and what my story is can help you feel like, okay, I could listen to this girl. I could connect with this Sista Friend. So my name is Emilee Roughton. I am soon to be Miss Emilee Williams. I am getting married in November. I have had a very interesting journey, in my opinion. I look back at my life all the time. I'm like, okay, sure. That makes sense for me. I am 30 years old. I'll be 31 in September. I am a Virgo. I am a projector. I'm an Enneagram 7. All the things. But really get into the deep here, the heart to heart piece. My life truly started after my divorce. And I say this all the time, and you'll hear me bring this up a number of times. And I not to harp on my divorce or act like it's this thing that chip on my shoulder. It's actually one of the biggest blessings of my entire life. And as a Christian, believing in your mess being your blessings is a hard lesson to learn, but it really was. So I got just a little bit about me. I grew up very poor. I didn't have a lot of direction in my life, in the sense that my parents just didn't know that it was important for you to like be in clubs and get ready for college and all this. They just didn't know that. They were just trying to survive. And so I always had been a high achiever. I wanted something different. I always knew that I was meant to do something more. From reading Harry Potter fantasy books to going to school and learning all these things, I was like, I am meant for so much. Like there is something out there that I need to accomplish. And fast forward through high school, we'll definitely talk about my high school life, because we can all relate. We can all relate. I got married when I was 20. I knew it was to my high school sweetheart. And we had been together a very long time. We got married. I had moved to North Carolina. I had no car, no job. Some girl that I never met actually came and picked me up from my home in Maryland, drove me to North Carolina. And I was like, we're going to make this work. This is another story too in itself, but like learning to trust your heart. I knew as soon as I got there, it was not the decision I should have made, but I was stubborn. I was 19. I was like, we're going to make it work. And I had no money. We lived in a really shitty house. I had to walk to work and I started working at Sonic. And just so you know, working at Sonic, you make no money, if you couldn't guess that. Anyways, that was the beginnings of my life and the beginning of me settling and me getting into the fitness world. That's where I learned, when I lived in North Carolina, that's where I found out I wanted to be a personal trainer and got into kickboxing. Fast forward from there, I ended up getting divorced when I was 26, about to turn 27. And my life came crashing down. All, when you are settling in your life and when you are deciding these choices that aren't the best for you, but they feel like things you quote unquote should be doing, your world is wrecked. It comes crumbling down. I felt like the rug had been lifted right underneath me, but there was signs for years that this was going to happen. I was just ignoring them. So that being said, I was homeless. And then I moved in with my best friend, and then it was COVID. And COVID happened. And then I decided I'm going to move to Colorado. Moved to Colorado, no job, no money. I did have a car this time. And that's when my life truly started. And along the way is when I was really finding myself and started to realize how much of myself I put aside, how much of myself I didn't know because of all the things I quote unquote should have been doing, or what was best, or what a good girl would do, or everything was out of performance-based love. There's so much I was learning about myself after my divorce. That's why I totally believe I just started living my life afterwards. And when I moved to Colorado, that's when I started Full Circle Coaching. I couldn't get a job to save my life. I applied to over 60 jobs when I moved to Colorado, and that is not an exaggeration, literally 60 jobs, and didn't get hired for any of them. And when I moved to Colorado, I didn't know if I wanted to continue working in the fitness world. I had been a personal trainer for the last 8 years and 6, 7 years. I'm trying to do the math right. I don't know exactly the math, but I was like, I want to do something different. I'm building a new life out here, but God had a bigger calling for me. And that's why, this is where Destined for More comes from, because I always had that pit in my chest, just saying this can't be it. This can't be it. This can't be all my life is meant to be. And so I had $0, and that is not an exaggeration. I was on food stamps. My fiance, who was my boyfriend at the time, Austin, was actually sneaking food into my apartment, because one thing about me, I am very stubborn and I want to do everything by myself. We're still working on that, but he was sneaking food into my apartment to help me because I couldn't buy groceries. And I was like living off of the granola bars they passed out at work because I worked at a grocery store, ironically. And I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity I can't pass up, becoming an online fitness coach. And I spent $5,000 that I didn't have to start my business. And it was the hardest and best thing I ever did. It is still the best thing I ever did. By becoming a fitness coach online, I have been able to grow exponentially, whatever that word is, in the last almost 3 years than I did the entire time from 20 to 26. My growth has been exponential. That's how you say that word, exponential. In these last 3 years compared to those 6. And this is why heart to heart matters, because you understanding your heart, you understanding who you are, how you operate, your shadows, your light, your messes, your weirdness, embracing, I'm going to cry. You could have that exponential growth too, because I believe you are destined for more. Because if little old Emilee, who came from nothing, is destined for more, you 100% are. And knowing from where I came from, parents that did the best that they could with what they had. I struggle, my family struggles with drugs, alcohol, severe mental health. To me being able to pay for a condo and rent somewhere super nice and be able to pay my bills without worrying and being able to express myself fully, me being able to show up 100% confident in all the things that I do, that's heart to heart. That's you knowing your heart so well that you don't have a shadow of a doubt of the choices you're going to make. And by me showing my heart, I hope that it allows for you to show your heart. Because imagine how amazing we would all be as women if we all showed our hearts fully, if we all gave our hearts fully. And I'm not perfect. I'm still working on this in a lot of areas of my life. But as a fitness entrepreneur, I can say that this is one of the reasons why I have been successful. That complete authenticity, that complete being like, this is, here I am, arms, wrists up, wide open, like this is me. And because of my journey and my process that I've gone through, I know that that's why it has worked. And it doesn't mean there hasn't been a lot of hard times. I mean, I cried so much when I started my business, so much, questioned it daily. I questioned who I was, if I was capable of this, what am I worth? Like, it was so much and so deep. And it has turned into something amazing and beautiful. And I trained with, I guess you could call them general population for a while. I mean, most of my life. And now to switch to want to help you all has given me something that I didn't realize I needed and have been craving, talking to my peers, guiding my peers, supporting you all. And women as women, we need that. We crave that as much as we say we don't. Having women in your corner does wonders. So one thing about me, I talk in, as you can tell, like, I don't want to say in circles, because I don't feel like I'm talking in circles, but it kind of I have a flow to the way that I talk. So with this podcast, I want us to dive into these topics. I want to bring the women in my world on here to open their hearts up, share their stories, and for you to just realize that you are destined for more, and we can really use these tools together to grow and kill it in this world, to create those dream lives, to make the impact. I mean, some of my biggest dreams and visions is like hosting these retreats, hosting these opportunities for women to come together and just like kill it, just do amazing shit, So that's heart to heart. this is our first episode. We're just scratching the surface here. I'm going to dive more into some of these struggles, really open my heart up to you. I'm sure I'm going to cry. Because obviously that was just the tip of the iceberg of my story. And so we'll bring on some women to also share their stories. It won't just be rambling about my life over here, but really give you guys the opportunity to grow, give you guys the opportunity to succeed, to feel love, and feel like we're sister friends. You can count on me, that you can reach out to me, that if there's something you need, I am here for you. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Please subscribe to my podcast. Please just share it with the world if you can. If not, no worries. I hope you have a kick-ass day. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon.